Perfect. Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this exciting event, Shaping Tomorrow's Tourism Today. The power of AI begins here. We are thrilled to have you with us today, and we are looking forward to engaging in interesting discussions around the topic of artificial intelligence and tourism. We wish to thank the Ministry of the Economy and Innovation of Lithuania for taking this initiative and bringing UN Tourism and OECD and the ministry together for hosting this workshop today. I have pleasure in providing the floor to the Vice Minister, but before doing that, I need to do some housekeeping. Please, the ones who are not speaking, to switch off the cameras, to mute your microphones. In addition, we wish to inform you that this webinar workshop is going to be recorded, and the recordings are going to be made available after the session is over and the content is uploaded on the website of UN Tourism. We look forward to exciting discussions now. And I have pleasure in giving the floor to the Vice Minister of the Economy and Innovation of the Republic of Lithuania, Mr. Karolis Žemaitis. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good day, everyone who joined us online. Apologies for my dynamic background. I'm currently on vacation, enjoying the tourism in its finest. Nevertheless, I couldn't miss the opportunity also to join you for this exciting topic of AI. So first of all, I wanted to thank UN Tourism and OECD and everyone who is on board for the whole seminar and all the content that will be shared today. And, when it comes to AI, you know very well that this is one of the biggest buzzwords right now. And there are very few people that actually understand how AI works and what the benefits could AI bring. And I'm very excited that those few people are actually right now today with us. So you will have the very good opportunity to enjoy very deep and thoughtful discussions. When it comes to Lithuania, Lithuania is already one of the most digitalized countries and enjoy the rapid digitalization that has been happening in the last decades. And of course, just like any other country, we're really trying to understand how AI could work and help, especially in the tourism sector. And one of the main ambitions that we have is also to bring the public service, the public sector, closer to AI, because I truly and deeply believe that private sector is always in advance, is always a couple of steps further. Nevertheless, I think us as the decision makers, we have to be as open for innovation as possible. And that's not always easy. And when it comes to tourism, it actually brings enormous opportunities for businesses, enormous opportunities for citizens, and enormous opportunities for governments as well, because this is a very unique tool. And I think right now we are trying to understand how this tool works. And in Lithuania, we already implemented several initiatives and ideas when it comes to digitalization and transformation of tourism sector, when it comes to open data, when it comes to the possibility to access information from the government point of view when it comes to supporting businesses for their digital transformation. I think this is inevitable, and the question is how fast we will be able to adopt it. And for me, it is important that we have this triangular dialogue, between businesses, governments, as well as international institutions and organizations, because that's the key element. All these three elements are very, very crucial to ensure the success, because generally tourism is a very global phenomenon, and one country or one company cannot do everything. So I truly believe in this dialogue or trialogue that we are having and we're witnessing today. And I really wish that we will learn from the best and we will adopt these technologies, because sometimes I still hear, not so often, but I still sometimes hear that when we will come back to the good old pre-COVID times, 2018, 2019, And I'm always telling we will never go back to these times. And that's not bad, because the times are changing, the consumers are changing, the situations are changing, so we have to change as well. So my invitation is not to look back to the good old times, but create new times that could be even better. And technology is a tool, technology is an opportunity, even though we cannot miss the human link and human interaction. And, you know, this is us humans interacting, not chatbots discussing with each other. So that's why human interaction and human element will remain crucial. Nevertheless, we have to utilize and use the technology for the benefit of human beings. So thank you very much, and I really wish the best in the upcoming discussions. And I hope that this seminar and this platform will serve as a springboard and as a gateway for further discussions in this very, very important topic of artificial intelligence in tourism. Thank you very much, and have a good day in advance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Minister, for your wise words and for your guiding words. I think this is highly appreciated by all of us, and also outlining that this trialogue that we are having today is something where all the players are coming together and where we can exchange these best practices that can guide us in the future, and to use this as a springboard for all future discussions. So thank you so much for this initiative, for making this happening today. We are very grateful for this occasion. And please enjoy your vacation and take some deep breaths also for us that are sitting in the offices now. Thank you. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I have pleasure in doing the first introduction to the ones who are representing international organizations that have taken up the topic of artificial intelligence. I have pleasure in giving the floor to Ms. Jane Stacey, the head of tourism at the OECD. Jane, please, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Cordula. Thanks to you and UN Tourism, and also thank you to the Vice Minister for the initiative to organise today's session and for inviting OECD to participate and to contribute. Lithuania really has been playing a leadership role on digitalisation and tourism issues, and I think the Vice Minister has set out extremely well the context for our discussions today. So bear with me and I'll just share my screen. I have a few slides. So hopefully these will show okay. Do you see them okay, Cordula?
Yes, we do,
yes.
Jane.
Great. Mm-hmm. Excellent. So thank you again, everyone. So the OECD is supporting governments to shape safe, secure and trustworthy artificial intelligence, including through the OECD's AI principles, the OECD AI Observatory and the Global Partnership on AI. So this is wider work across the OECD on the topic of AI, but also there's work happening within the OECD Tourism Committee. So that brings together we have about 45, 50 countries around the table from national tourism administrations. And the work of the Tourism Committee is bringing a sectoral focus to these efforts. So I'm very pleased to share some of the key messages from this work, including from an OECD paper on AI and tourism, which informed discussions at the G7 meeting of tourism ministers last month under Italy's presidency. And thank you very much to Italy as well for the leadership on putting AI and tourism on the international agenda. The paper was endorsed by ministers in the G7 communique. So I shall share some key messages from that. But first, perhaps, to look at generative AI. This is something which is rapidly developing, changing many aspects of our lives and the tourism economy, as the Vice Minister has already set out. Before diving into some of the opportunities and challenges that this brings and the implications for the sector, it's perhaps useful to take a step back and recall what are we talking about? What is AI? How does it work? And why the intense recent focus on something which has been in many ways around for many decades. So at the OECD, artificial intelligence is defined as a machine-based system that infers from inputs it receives how to generate outputs such as predictions, content, recommendations, and decisions that can influence physical or virtual environments. So it is a mix of technologies rather than one single technology that work together and are capable of tasks that typically require human-like intelligence. AI systems require vast amounts of data. There is some feedback. That's okay now. Okay, so the AI systems require a vast amount of data. The more data, the better. And the more relevant and the higher quality the data, the better the outputs. And what we've been experiencing over the last 18 to 24 months has been a significant shift in the speed with which Gen AI is evolving. The OECD adopted the first international standard on AI in 2019, providing policymakers with guidance on promoting trustworthy and human-centric AI. These principles, and you'll see the main points covered in the principles on screen, these were updated earlier this year to reflect already the rapid technological developments just in the last few years. And these principles are very relevant for tourism and for the different tourism stakeholders. AI has emerged as a transformative force in tourism, a powerful catalyst for innovation to help address challenges facing the sector, but it also brings new risks and magnifies existing challenges with implications for tourism workers, for tourists, for businesses, and for destinations looking to make the most of this technology. AI is changing the way tourists plan, book, and experience travel, and offers significant potential to improve business intelligence and data analytics, to enhance the visitor experience and reach new customers, to improve operational efficiency while automating business processes and service delivery, promoting accessibility and visitor engagement through digital content and diversifying the offer. AI can also help accelerate the transition to greener, more sustainable and inclusive business models by supporting strategic tourism planning and decision making, promoting sustainable practices, and optimizing resource allocation and visitor flow management, again with timely, relevant data. While AI offers significant potential in tourism, the extent to which it will ultimately transform the sector remains uncertain, but the uses and impacts are becoming increasingly tangible. Available evidence suggests that AI adoption rates differ across different parts of the tourism economy. So data from Eurostat shows that travel agencies, tour operators are among the most rapid adopters, with 11% using at least one AI technology, such as chatbots and virtual assistants. This figure drops to 4% among accommodation and food service businesses. And the purpose and use of AI also varies across different parts of the sector and compared to other sectors. Marketing and sales are the first functions for which tourism enterprises use AI, followed by business administration, and travel agencies and tour operators are most likely to use AI for research and development for innovation purposes. Data from the OECD Digital Economy Outlook this year points to an emerging digital divide. As in general, 8% of enterprises use AI in OECD countries, with large enterprises significantly more likely to do so, 29%. This data is not specific to the tourism sector, but addressing this divide will be important to give all SMEs, including tourism SMEs, opportunities to benefit from AI. And this is one of the risks associated with AI. Slow and uneven AI diffusion risks widening the digital divide, particularly for small and micro businesses. AI is also changing jobs and skills needs in the sector. The OECD estimates that in general, 27% of occupations across the economy are at risk of automation. According to our report on job creation and local economic development that was launched just last week, this varies significantly across regions also, with a clear urban-rural divide emerging. And tourism jobs will likely also be impacted. This poses a risk of job displacement while workers require new skills to use AI tools. And this potentially has far-reaching consequences in a human-centric sector like tourism, but also as tourism is a place-based sector. Another risk is that AI systems rely on extensive data collection and processing. And in addition, there are intellectual property questions around who owns AI innovations. This raises digital security, data protection issues, as well as privacy and ethical issues to avoid, for example, manipulations of online reviews, misinformation from chatbots, so-called hallucinations from poor quality data, and possible increased discrimination of certain groups, tourists and workers. There is also a need to train AI systems and algorithms to avoid, for example, that AI recommendation systems only promote those already popular tourism destinations and attractions, increasing pressure on these sites and surrounding communities. Finally, the environmental impacts of AI's high energy use are significant and growing as AI becomes more widespread. So while AI can help optimize resource use, it also presents significant sustainability challenges, which is relevant for the shift to more sustainable tourism models. All of this to say, AI opens up many opportunities for shaping the future of tourism, but also brings risks that need to be managed. As the Vice Minister said in his opening remarks, AI is a tool, and we need to manage and understand the implications for tourists, workers, businesses, destinations, and for policymakers. We need robust measures to protect data and keep workers and tourists safe from the unethical use of AI. The impact of AI on tourism jobs needs to be monitored to protect and prepare workers. Tourism businesses will need support, particularly smaller tourism businesses. And as AI matures and the regulatory environment evolves, it'll become important that tourism policymakers and tourism stakeholders in general are actively monitoring and engaging with these developments. With that, I will close. I look forward to the discussions today. These are very interesting discussions that will continue as AI continues to rapidly evolve. And it's important that all stakeholders work closely together on these issues. I like the Vice Minister's triangular dialogue. That puts it much better than I could have done. The OECD will continue to work on these issues, including through the work of the OECD Tourism Committee. And we'll hear later from the chair of the OECD Tourism Committee as well, Sergio Guerrero. I take the opportunity also to highlight in particular work that we are starting now under the leadership and support of Korea. And thank you to the Korean Tourism Organization and the ministry in Korea. And we invite you to mark in your diaries the 6th of February next, when the OECD is organizing an event with Korea, where we will continue to take forward the discussions and the work that we are doing with Korea on AI and tourism. Further information to follow, but in the meantime, just to say the paper that I have, much of the presentation has been drawn from the paper that we did with the G7 on AI and tourism. This will be freely available on the OECD's website next week. It's already available on the G7 Italy presidency's website. So thank you very much, and really look forward to the discussions today.
Thank you very much, Jane. This is highly appreciated for the wonderful run through where we are currently standing with the topic of artificial intelligence in the tourism sector. Thank you so much for that. I understand that in the chat we will share access to the publication on your publication that you have published on the G7 on the occasion of the G7 meeting. With this, Jane, again, many thanks for that. I now will give the floor to my dear colleague, Antonio Lopez de Avila, our Director of Innovation, Education, Investments, who will brief us on where we stand within UN Tourism on our work with AI. Antonio, please.
Thank you, Cordula. Thank you. Good morning to you all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends on where you are. It's an amazing amount of people here watching this, which is very important for us because we are working hard in this AI, so people can understand how these new technologies, not so new, impact on tourism and impact on our lives. I would like to share my screen now. I have a small presentation related to what we are doing. As you know, maybe since 2018, we started to work in innovation within the UN Tourism. Thanks to our Secretary General, we have been already mapped in 2020, 2022 as one of the most innovative and data and digital capacities units in the UN system. We have been working a lot with the other institutions, other agencies within our network, and also doing research in collaboration with other entities. So we are working a lot on innovation, new technologies, and the impact of new technologies in our sector. Lately, we are working on this artificial intelligence adoption in tourism, key considerations for sector stakeholders, with section universities, one of our affiliate members, and we are also working on AI impact analysis on tourism, jobs and digitization, and the future of tourism in collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism of Saudi Arabia. So I would like to share with you some of the key highlights that we have found. Of course, after the COVID, we know that the urgency for digital transformation has intensified, and artificial intelligence is key for all of us, and we all know that it's impacting our lives in a very profound way. And we are talking about operational efficiency, as Jane stated right now, more personalized customer experiences, and above all, we are working on smart destinations. As you know, smart destinations are those who are using data to manage the impact of tourism in their territory and in their economy, in the environment, in their lives. So it's important for the smart destination to have very quick, good quality data and very valid data and standardized data. That's why we think this is really important. We need to standardize data so we can do a proper benchmarking, we can improve the algorithm performance, reduction and reduce the bias. We need to create database spaces in Europe and in the world, and that's why we think it's important to launch this data sharing initiative as Europe did a few weeks ago with the European Tourism Data Space. It's not only talking about statistics, it's not only talking about public data, it's also talking about private data generated by the operations of the companies, of hotels, travel agencies, and air companies, all mobility sector. So we really need to have very good data, quality data, and standardized so we can compare everything. So far, 42% of travelers have either already incorporated AI into their travel plans or express curiosity about it. So that's what we have from our section report. An additional 16% show interest despite not having used AI yet, which means that everybody is really close to it. I mean, they really want to use AI to plan their trips and to have a better experience. You see here, AI is, as Jane said before, it's very good to guarantee a seamless and secure experiences for tourists, and they're using these services a lot. And regarding the labor market implication in tourism, we see that AI is impacting a lot in the economic growth in tourism because knowledge and data-driven strategies are increasing are helping the economic growth of companies of the tourism sector. Air companies and travel agencies and hotel companies are using every day more and more AI to help them in their systems. And we have seen that we are witness that the AI can generate a job displacement, but also creation of new jobs, more quality jobs in the sector. And that's clear that we need to do training programs so we can reskill and upskill the needs of our employees. The good thing is that these AI tools can help not only big corporations, but also SMEs. So even SMEs can benefit from the possibilities that AI are giving us. not only with the operations, but also in a very wise way for predictive analytics. This is what we are doing now with the countries, adopting AI in tourism. We are helping them to develop national tourism data and AI strategies. We are here to support public-private partnerships and data sharing strategies. We need to promote ethical data and AI use. We need to create a universal nomenclature for AI in tourism because it's needed so we all can compare the same things. We need to help countries so they can provide incentive for SMEs, and we need, as tourism sector, we need to invest in infrastructure. We call it smart infrastructure, and in education. Regarding national tourism administrations and DMOs, it's clear that AI can enhance smart tourism destinations to enhance visitor experiences and improve operational efficiency, but we need to control the data. We need to control the ownership of the data. And it's very important to be sure and to guarantee the ethical use of data and AI. And because with that, we can protect our people, and we can protect minority rights. The takeaways from this study that we did we published with Saxion University is regarding with every single sector within or industry within the tourism sector: food and beverage, leisure, cultural attractions, conference and exhibition organizers, MICE tourism, all the cross-sector recommendations using these data sharing spaces, accommodation providers, transportation sector, travel agencies. And what we are doing, we would like to launch an AI landscape flagship report next year. We keep on working on education through our Tourism Online Academy. We're launching new programs on AI tools, and we will launch more in the future in 2025. And of course, we are launching the new Artificial Intelligence Global Challenge, so we can identify talent and who's doing what to solve the problems that we are facing in tourism using AI-based technologies. So that's why we're launching this. Everybody can participate, any startup or scale up globally. And we have 4 categories that are related to the problems that we know that countries are facing: branding and promotion, marketing, smart destinations and deep technologies, education and technology, and efficiency and operations. So if you want, we are still on time to present your application, and we will announce the finalist in April, and we will have the new solutions, the new final solutions within our UN Tourism Startup Network that we have already more than 400 companies worldwide. This is the website if you want to check it and go through to it. Okay, thank you, Cordula. It's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Antonio, for the comprehensive presentation of the current knowledge of UN tourism and the way ahead. I think this is highly appreciated. It's very exciting. So thank you, Jane, and thank you, Antonio, for giving us this broad views on AI and where we currently stand on this matter, and also showcasing how much work lies ahead of us, how many opportunities, at the same time challenges, that we need to address and that we need to be permanently on alert. And we need to engage in this topic in the future even more than we are probably doing today. So it's good to see that all of us are very active. Having said that, we are coming to the next part where we are talking, or we have a presentation by Meta. Before having the presentation, Angelique, may I kindly ask for a group photo that I forgot to do before the session with Jane and Antonio. I will ask my colleague Noda to take care of this group photo quickly. While doing that, maybe a nice big smile of everybody.
Give us a second, please.
Yes, Noda. So we keep smiling.
Keep smiling 1 more second, please.
You
Or
try.
2.
Yes, Nora.
Thank you very much. We're good to go.
Thank you, Nora, for that. Thank you so much. And now I have pleasure in giving the floor to our dear colleague, Mrs. Angeliki Dedopoulou from Meta. Angeliki, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dula, and nice to meet you all. So my name is Angeliki Dedopoulou, and I work as Public Policy Manager on AI and FinTech at Meta's EU Affairs Office in Brussels. So today I will discuss about Meta's open innovation approach to AI, and I will also present you a couple of use cases for governments, including one related to tourism. So let me try to. So, 1 second. So AI is not a new concept. As also Mr. Zamaitis mentioned, it has been evolving actually since a long time ago, most likely since mid-20th century, with each era marked by significant advancements. The birth of AI can be traced back to 1956 with the development of the logic theorist, which was actually the first AI program. A major also milestone was the testing of the first chatbot, Eliza, at MIT in 1966, which really marked the beginning of AI's application in natural language processing. AI's potential in strategic thinking and decision-making was also showcased in 1997 when it beat the world chess champion Garry Kasparov. I guess you're all aware about this amazing, actually, time. And the current era, often referred to as AI 2.0, has seen the launch of AI generators, and the colleague from OECD also mentioned about them, and text-based tools, indicating the growing acceptance and application of AI in various fields and at the same time in various sectors of the economy. The future of AI holds, of course, exciting possibilities, such as personalizing our everyday experiences. And yeah, from logic theories to AI art generators, the journey of AI has been remarkable. And as we look forward to the future, we can expect AI to continue to transform our lives in ways we can't even imagine yet, as also the previous speakers highlighted very well in their presentations. So at Meta, we know that people use our technologies to connect with people that they care, like their family, friends, customers, but also new experiences. Meta has been a pioneer in AI for more than 10 years. And we actually, with our technology, we help deliver relevant content and ads to people who use our services, or identify at the same time and combat harmful content on our platform. We have released already more than 1,000 AI models, libraries, and datasets for researchers, including the latest version of our large language model, which is Llama 3.0. And I can actually, I'm happy to share also more information following this presentation to you. So companies can use Llama, Meta's large language model, to create personalized training modules for employees tailored to their learning and styles and skills. These AI tools can also help smaller businesses compete. For example, Meta's new AI tools are helping small businesses create advertising campaigns that can compete also with larger companies. This saves both money and time. In fact, half of advertisers who participated in early testing estimated that Meta's AI tools will save them 5 or more hours a week, which is equivalent actually of a full month per year. So why Llama? Llama is an accessible open large language model, which is designed for developers, researchers, and businesses, as I mentioned before, to build, experiment, and responsibly scale their generative AI ideas. And part of a foundational system, it serves also as a bedrock for innovation in the global community. As also the title of my presentation indicates, we believe that open source AI is really the path forward. We believe that the open source AI has a lot of benefits, and in general can be spread evenly and safely across society, rather than concentrated in the hands of a few, as it happens often with the closed models of AI. And we also believe that our large language models like Llama is best placed to help governments. Like I know that we have many representatives of governments today, and really can help them accelerate innovation and opportunity, reduce costs, and improve at the same time safety, security, and accountability. Because often when open source, we have open source models, they can actually be accessible by open source community, and this open source community can actually improve them further, spot potential mistakes, report back, and let us know so that we can actually mitigate potential risks. When it comes to innovation and opportunity, we see a future where open models like Llama are continuously improved and built upon by everyone, as I mentioned before. That means reducing barriers to entry, sharing innovation and success widely, and drastically reducing the resources and money needed to build these things from scratch. And when it comes to safety, security, and accountability, we see a future where open models, as a result of their ability to be downloaded on local hardware, result in less data having to be shared with external parties, and in a way more control over what you're building and how you implement it. And of course, I'm referring to developers that want actually to use this technology. And beyond this, actually, open models also allow researchers, authorities, or developers to ensure that software is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. But I don't just want to talk about what open source and Llama could do for governments or for companies. I want also to show you, as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, what it's already doing for other governments around the world. So let's look at a couple of use cases encompassing actually both improved government efficiency and public sector outcomes. Open source AI models like Llama are already making governments around the world more efficient and in lots of different ways. So by improving actually safety, security, and accountability. And here we have an example of how Llama, actually, our open source model, has been used in France. So a public finance agency of the government developed Llama Demand, which is basically an LLM-supported tool built on Llama 2, which is the previous version of Llama, that helps public servants streamline the legislative process by facilitating amendments, classifications, and even by helping other ministries and departments understand in a way legal bills developed in the French Parliament. Llama has been also used in other, let's say, for other applications, and it has been used also, for example, by a digital agency of the French government, Albert, which basically is a chatbot that has been helping civil servants implement public services. And in the US also has been used by the Department of the Air Force. And it was actually a combination also with the Mistral-based tool that helps airmen, guardians, but also civilian employees with tasks such as coding, content summarization, and so on. So we have also some use cases in the education sector. So open source AI models are already being used to provide students with on-demand support, but also specialized learning and instant assistance. So for example, we have Fundamate, which is basically an AI-enabled study assistant built on Llama 2 that caters in a way to over 3 million students via WhatsApp, and basically helps them with homework and exam support, and provides instant around-the-clock assistance, allowing them at the same time to optimize their learning experience. Of course, we have also some other examples, but the most relevant for this group, I guess, is the one which is used in tourism and transportation. So Router, which is a Norwegian transportation info app owned by the Oslo municipality, has fine-tuned Llama 2 to help them analyze customer complaints. And there is also a German-based developer, which is called Fully AI, and has used Llama 3 to create conversational AI sales agents that can provide tailored recommendations for customers looking to buy new cars. And last but not least, the SNCF group, Alp Valley and their partners, have integrated Llama 3.1 to create a voice-enabled virtual assistant for Paris Gare du Nord, which is basically the largest station in Europe, as you know. And this assistant boasted multilingual support, efficient workflow validation, but also real-time inference. And it was also unveiled at the Paris 2024 Olympics. So if what you've heard in a way has piqued your interest, if you're thinking about building with Llama, or if you just like to get a better idea of what that process might look like, you'll be interested in these checklists. So the first detailing what you need to get started with Llama. And the second one detailing how to actually go about implementing a Llama project. So there is a checklist that you can actually use and navigate actually, what your journey will look like and what you need at each step, from assembling your team and detailing the case through to continuously improving your launched product. Thank you very much for your attention. If you would like to find out more of how to use Llama, please contact me at my email, which is written in this slide. And I'm more than happy to have a follow-up discussion with you and more tailored, let's say, a meeting to discuss in more details of how you can actually use Llama. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angeliki, for describing and discussing with us the work that Meta is doing and the Llama project that you're undertaking. I think this is very interesting. Also, the case studies that you provided, I think, are good examples on how to use AI on this occasion. Having said that, again, I wish to recall that all the presentations and the recordings of this webinar are going to be uploaded in the very near future on the website of UN Tourism and can be accessible there. Again, many thanks, Angeliki, for your insights and for sharing your knowledge with us. I also want to wish to mention that we have a question and answer button in the Zoom link where you can ask questions whenever you wish to do so, so that the speakers who are with us today can answer according. So question and answer button where you can ask questions. Having said that, I have now pleasure in giving the floor to my dear colleague, Mrs. Sandra Carvao. She's the Director of Market Intelligence Policies and Competitiveness Department at UN Tourism. And with this, we enter now the topic of the use of artificial intelligence with regards to destinations. Dear Sandra, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Cordula. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's great to see such an interested crowd. And as everyone has said, to see so many different players from different areas coming together. Before I actually pass the floor to our panelists, who are the ones who have much more interesting things to share than me, I just wanted to leave you with three ideas, which I think are important before we have those presentations. One is that whenever we look at AI as an exponential enabler of data and market intelligence, that we think at the end question that we want to answer. Like any other options that we have with technology, we need to keep in mind that our sector has an impact on communities, on people, on the environment. And I think we need to make sure that when we look at that, it's as a tool, so not as an objective. And I think I just wanted to leave that first key message. We know that data and intelligence are key for tourism planning and management, and that in this case, AI can actually enable that capacity. But also, I think Jane mentioned that without data quality, the output is jeopardized. So I think, again, second message, we need to make sure that what we put in the mix is good so that the cake is actually eatable. And I think this is something that as we go along this discussion, we need to have into account. I think there's probably, Antonio touched it and everyone mentioned, but I'd like to highlight maybe 5 areas where we can actually use AI better. Forecasting demand, and I'm sure we will look at some of those examples. And it's great that we can have this space to share experiences. We're all learning how to go along it, and we're happy to facilitate this space to really streamline insights. There's so much information around. We have over information, so how can we actually use AI to streamline the information that we have? To manage flows, which is one of the biggest challenges our sector is having, to personalize content. I'm sure we're going to hear from our colleagues on that. But also, I would like to bring an extra issue, which is crisis preparedness, management and recovery. I think as we all face many situations and challenges, AI can really be helpful as a tool in this area. With that said, I will leave my colleague Michelle Julien, who manages our UN Tourism and ETC Data Lab as well, where we've been tackling some of these issues, to moderate the panel. But I just wanted from our side to leave you with those questions to make sure that at the outset we know why we are using it, and to make sure that the input that we are giving in terms of data is a quality data, to ensure that whatever we get out of it is also of quality. So with that said, Michelle, floor is yours, and I look forward to hear the presentations and learn more about what is being done in each of the countries. And thank you to the panelists for joining us, of course.
Thank you very much, dear Sandra, for pointing out those key elements that we need to take into consideration when we talk about AI and data. I think that makes the perfect setting the scene for the next session. So I will be pleased to moderate a great group of colleagues and experts who will share how they apply AI and data in their daily work, but also how AI and data is contributing to achieve a more competitive, smart, sustainable destination, to also enhance visitor experience. So without further ado, I will give the floor to our colleague from Lithuania, Antanas Bernatonis, CEO of YAI and cooperating partner of Lithuania Travel, who is going to drive us into how we combine human intelligence and artificial intelligence in a people's sector such as tourism. Antanas, the floor is yours. Remember, 10 minutes max. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's always very hard to fit in time when there are so many things to say, and especially after so many great speakers. So thanks for everyone who joined today. It's amazing to see so many people from different countries joining in this event that is an extension of Lithuanian event that I will talk a little bit about. And today I will talk about people and AI. We'll have a lot of use cases from the other countries as well. I will tell a few from Lithuania, but I would like to talk about how we can combine human intelligence with artificial intelligence, because that's specifically what I am focusing on when working with a lot of organizations and companies. And I'm meeting so many people that I see how they want to achieve great things with AI, and very often we focus on the big data and a lot of large models, when actually we already have so many tools that when put in practice, they can bring so many benefits for us. And what I would like to start with this kind of simple idea that as much as Lithuania would like to be the leader in AI creation, we won't be. We won't be because, as mentioned, the data, there's a lot of data needed to create those big models, yet we don't have that much data, being a small country like most of the European countries, yet we have other upsides that we can put into our benefits as a countries. And in our case, what's amazing about Lithuanians and me personally and the others believe that we can be the leaders in using the AI and showing the examples on how to harness those results with combining it with our creativity. And why is that? Because I think many of you who have been in Lithuania, you recognize one thing, that Lithuanians are very hungry. Especially they are hungry when it comes to the technology. So probably you remember some years ago, we were one of the leaders in the fintech wave when Brexit happened, and some country had to take the lead in this, and Lithuania became kind of a leader in this. We were also the leader in the crypto startups. When again this wave come, Lithuanians took the lead, and one of the, like, I think it's, I don't remember the exact statistics. I think it was like 7 out of 10 top crypto companies were created by Lithuanians or in Lithuania. And what's interesting right now that now Lithuania wants to harness the power of AI, and Lithuanians are so hungry that even my mother is using AI daily. I always love to give this example. She's not very technologically advanced. She's still posting YouTube videos on my Facebook feed instead of sending it as a message for me. Yet she's using AI every single day right now. And I'm so happy to see that when she's coming to me and she's saying, Ananas, can you show me another tool that I could use? I already making the designs for my presentations. What else I could use? And I show her a tool like, I don't know, DeepL or something else where she can translate things. And she said, that's so amazing. Before I used to take so much time to translate documents for my colleagues from Lithuanian to English or to German. And now it's so easy because I just translate it. I check it within 5 minutes. I send it back to my colleagues and all of them are asking, Judita, how do you work so fast? And she's saying, I don't tell them. So it became kind of her upside. And there are so many examples like this in Lithuania where people, they are combining their own intelligence with new technology and then creating some amazing things. And to prove that, we have some amazing examples where people who didn't have any technological I don't know, capacities or knowledge. Now they're creating some amazing things. So for example, in this case, one guy, his name is Linas Lekavičius. He didn't know how to code in the summer, and he still don't know how to do that, but he learned how to use a few generative AI tools. With them, he created this tool. You can see it right here. It's called AI Haggler. And what that agent does, that agent is calling for the hotels across Europe, across the world, and asking last-minute discounts. So very useful for every one of us. And he created that within days, and this app went viral. And as mentioned, he didn't have any programming experience before. He just learned how to use those tools to create these amazing things. And what we did, just what is the kind of what is this event? So it's an extension of the event that we had last week. So we just held a travel tech innovation forum last week where we had 10 amazing speakers, including dear Antonio, who also spoke today. So it's really pleasant. It was really pleasant to meet him in person. The event happened for 2 days. We had a lot of participants, and what's most interesting that we were not only talking and we didn't just have presentations, we had a lot of practice. So both the first and the second day, we had the 3-hour workshops where the tourism sector, workers from the tourism sector, they came and they had workshops on how they can apply AI today, not to wait for some a lot difficult tools to create something new. They were using today's tools to gain power, and for them as the tourism and information centers and representatives of those centers, they were able to learn how to use that data. So our vice minister just told that we are sharing a lot of data from the government on how to make the predictions, how many people will come, which countries are the most in love with the different cities in Lithuania, what do they like to do. And we were able to use this data and apply AI in the data in order to achieve and learn how to actually use it, not to look at it, but actually analyze it together with AI tools that are available today. Now, the second day, they were working on the more creative systems, but I am so happy to see that I had the pleasure and an honor to be the host of that event. That this is an annual event already. Last year, I was working with those people, and I saw how hungry they are to learn the potential of their tools, and then how they are starting to apply it. And this year they are extending it even more and going to the advanced things from, I don't know, presentation creation to actually analyzing the data, which seemed to be impossible before in the smaller towns in the countryside. And now they're using it to gain the benefit and to attract more tourists in Lithuania. So it's so amazing to see that. And to prove that through the example, so I don't know, maybe some of you have seen this amazing campaign that Lithuania Travel did. So what they did, so basically they created images of the Lithuanian landscape where they said that this landscape isn't real, but every part of it is. So basically the data was fed for AI, and AI created the landscape of Lithuania, which is half fantasy, half reality. But here are a few examples. It was shown with everything, with the food, because in Lithuania we are not only hungry for the technology, but also hungry for the food, for the fine dining, for the cultural experiences and everything else. And people were able to get that sense through the AI. And once they clicked, for example, right here, if you would click taste it, they would be brought to the actual images and photos and explanations of what you can actually experience in Lithuania. And what's interesting about this campaign, it was very successful because it was created by Lithuania Travel, and without putting additional resources into this campaign engagement was 4 times higher than a usual campaigns. So it was a really great presentation on how people creativity, people ability and intelligence was connected with technology, and together they created this really amazing campaign that we are very proud of. And that was, of course, it was not the only reason, but it was one of the reasons why this year Lithuania was selected and awarded as the best country in Europe, best country to travel in Europe, and the second best in the world by the Lonely Planet. It was a big achievement and recognition for Lithuania. And of course, there are many different aspects why we got this award, but for sure, one of them was our ability to create these amazing campaigns and to combine everything that we have in that Lithuania. So I'm super proud and happy to say that Lithuania believes in human creativity and human intelligence, and combining it with AI capabilities, we can skyrocket our abilities, and we are already doing that. And we already see so many examples, one working both with the companies, with the public organizations, in tourism as well. And you will see even more of that in the coming months and coming years, especially after we had such an amazing events. So that's it about me. A very brief presentation. I'm not used to make the presentation as such to present what we did. I'm always very practical person when I'm giving the workshops for the companies and organizations. That's why it's my kind of a habit to give something in the end. So for those who are listening, if you want to bring something home and do as Lithuanians do something in practice at home, I have a list of free resources here, guides, prompts, assistants, and templates that you could apply back at home. And again, if you want to reach out to me personally, I will leave my contacts here. But yeah, it's amazing to see everybody else, and I'm waiting to hear the other countries as well. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Antanas. Perfect timing. And I always amaze, about how passionate Lithuanians are, and this is reflected in your leadership, but also in your creative spirit, and trying, to share that knowledge.
It's very cold in Lithuania. That's why we have to move a lot and be energetic.
That's why.
Warm up our bodies. Yeah, that's the only reason.
So now that you're talking about warm and heat, let's go a little bit south. And with our next presenter, Sergio Guerreiro from Portugal, Senior Director for Strategy and Knowledge Management of Turismo de Portugal, but also Chair of the Tourism Committee of OECD. Sergio, the floor is yours.
I just got a WhatsApp that Sergio has problems with the laptop, that his laptop just went blue with a blue screen. So he will rejoin as soon as possible. You might want to give the floor to Mr. Matthias Hickel from Germany first.
Excellent. Matthias, are you ready?
That's okay for me. Thank you.
Alles klar, let's go.
Thank you. Thank you, Cordula. Thank you, Michelle. Always nice to present and be part of an event like this. So this is highly appreciated. And for my part, I want to go more into a practical experience, sharing some practical experience that we have when we use artificial intelligence in data dashboards. And we have a couple of dashboards in place. So the logical step was now to say, well, we have all these nice screens and all these nice illustrations, but can we also apply artificial intelligence on it? And before I show you a couple of examples, I intend to show it also live on the dashboard. I want to explain what was the idea behind, and also combine the whole topic with the open data project we have in Germany as well. You could say, well, those are two parallel topics, but eventually what we aim is that at the end of the day, finally, the two things will also come together. That is why my presentation is actually two parts. And for the first part, for the sharing of experiences in data dashboards with artificial intelligence, I want to focus not so much about what you can do with, let's say, using AI chatbots and using and making tables and in-depth analysis and those kind of things on AI chatbots. But I want to explain what we can do with the dashboards that are in place and when putting AI into it. So that's a topic. I mean, there's so much to talk about this whole part and this whole sector. So that is why I want to focus on this. And I also want to not so much focus about AI assistance to set up dashboards, because that can be a great help. You know, managers who have tried to set up and bring in place dashboards have often realized that this is not so easy and quite technical. So their AI can help a lot, but that's not the focus of my presentation. So in Germany, we have 3 dashboards in place, and one is focusing on business facts like spending, overnights, the usual stuff, I would say. The other one is focusing on sustainability. And the third one is focusing on business travel. That's the newest one. And just came out recently. And when you think about putting AI into dashboards, you could say, well, why don't we just ask ChatGPT what could be a good solution? And so if you use a simple prompt and ask for, please create me an image that shows AI features on data dashboards, you get 3 major topics back. One is real-time analytics. That's definitely quite interesting when you have real-time data. Not everybody has real-time data. I think we've heard it today that normally the data that we have as an NTO, for example, are not so, let's say, not so dedicated towards these kind of things. So you need to have real-time data. But when you have real-time data, you have great opportunities, and there's lots of things you can do. Anomaly detection, that's also interesting. It's a part of every, let's say, test of data sets before you load them into your dashboard solution. So that makes definitely sense and sounds really okay. And then predictive insights. And that's, I think Sandra also mentioned it as one point today, where AI can help a lot. And we have also gone through this exercise, and that's what I want to show to you. But before I show you the AI part of it, I want to show you the data that we use for the machine learning processes. So we use Google Destination Insights, and with that you can do quite some nice things. I will just go into the dashboard and show it to you. So what you can do here is you can better understand where your customers come from. So let's take United States. So you will see most of them come from New York, California, South Carolina, towards Germany. Or let's take, because we just had Portugal, let's talk about Portugal. Lissabon, Porto, that's the 2 major areas where we can find our customers. And also you get the information when they come. And you can understand when there's a high frequency of people searching for the destination Germany, in this aspect, searching for hotels in the destination, then you can put this into context for all these markets with the actual overnights. And as a matter of fact, we use this data for short-term predictions. So it's a RIMA time series and forecasting model. And the basic parameter here is the Google searches. That's the data I've just shown to you. And when AI comes into play, that's when we use grid search as a machine learning tool to find the best fitting so-called hyperparameters. And this is set by country. And then we have as an outcome an individual model and a short-term forecast that goes no further than 3 months in the future, but it's already a great help for us. And technically, those kind of things are really difficult to do on dashboards itself. That's very, very difficult. I mean, you can use Python and R scripts in Tableau, for example, but those are very long processes. It takes very long time to run all these stochastic processes. So you wouldn't do this in the dashboard. That's what you would normally do as a pre-processed step. So you would prepare all these things outside of the dashboard and then import it into the dashboard. And that's what we aim to do for those very statistical works and very statistical, sophisticated kind of analysis. Where we use the features that the dashboard itself offers us, that's in this case for two, let's say, use cases. There are two AI or AI-like features available, in this case on the Tableau software. One is called data stories, and that explains data in a natural language process. And the other one is called metrics, and metrics sets a spotlight to content and can also send user notifications. I want to show this to you also here by going into the dashboard solution. So for example, if we have a very complex information here, so that's a very complex thing. If someone sees this slide for the first time, he might struggle with what's shown here actually. So that that's not easy to read. Therefore, I think those data stories can help a lot to better understand it. And besides the graphics and all the illustrations, you've got here the menu, and you can click on it, and you get a summary, executive summary on what's written on the slide. And it explains what facts you can see. It explains whether there's correlations between any of those facts. It explains countries that are outstanding in this context that is shown here, and many other things. So I think that's a quite interesting use case, even though it's not interaction, but it gives you on a click of a mouse button, it gives you a summary of what's going on that slide. And the other one is the metric idea. And I have to move this bit away. And that's here, the metric idea. And that's already some sort of large language model approach. It was used, it was called Ask the Data before, and now it's going a little more into the large language models direction. So you can here see selected facts. In this case, it's spend amount from credit card data. And you have got spotlight on something you can predefine. And then you can ask questions, you can say which card type had the highest spend amount, which market segment decreased most, which country name had the highest spend amount, or you can ask for basic questions also. If you want to understand more about, for example, the retail sectors, you can click here, and then you get the insight for the retail sector, the credit card spends, and then you can also go through it and understand which categories have high spend, low spend, which countries do have a high spending behavior, and which countries do have a lower spending behavior. So this is, I think, quite interesting as a, let's say, sort of AI approach on data dashboards. And it is promised that there will be, let's say, in new releases, even more conversational interaction with the dashboards, and it will make then ultimately also even more like human interaction than what we can see today. We also believe that the classic data dashboard style, as I just presented, showing the data with illustrations, with graphics, needs to be combined with those artificial intelligence features. Just using prompts and asking for things is, I think, in this very, let's say, narrow sector of data and of the market as such is very tricky. So we believe and are true believers in this combined style of using dashboard style plus AI prompt style narratives and those kind of things. I have a second topic. I think I have only a few minutes, but this I want to still show to you. And that's
couple of minutes, Matthias.
How many do you say, Michelle? 2 minutes. Okay. That's the open data projects that we have in place. So data is very important. So having the right data in getting it into AI is of key relevance. And so it is understood that the content-based websites will probably be of less relevance in the future. And it will more be the AI chatbots, rather those websites that we are all used to. And open data is very important to feed those chatbots. And open data is data that may be used, distributed, reused by third parties without any restrictions. And you could think about several things here. You could think about very technical things. Where can you find the point of interest? You know, the touristic point of interest, the opening hours, just simple things like addresses, prices. You need a nice illustration, you know, a open data illustration photo that you can use and distribute everywhere without any user rights. And the idea is to collect this from, let's say, the ground, from many touristic bodies, and use semantic standards so that AI can understand it, you know, can read it. That's very important. Otherwise, you will not be probably well understood by AI engines. And you need a technical body, and that's the knowledge graph in our context. So we use the data from the destinations, put it into the knowledge graph, and then we've got the third parties that can make use of it. Because, I mean, the idea of the whole exercise is that many people make use of it. And those can be websites, apps, applications, or voice assistants. And so that there's a common standard in this. The Open Data Tourism Alliance has been founded. It's 3 partners. As in Germany, it's 3 partners in German-speaking countries: Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And the idea is to set a semantic standard, you know, so that AI can understand this open data for the tourism industry in the best possible way. So this offers a lot of applications and use cases, and I want to highlight one. And one of the most important probably is the AI-based chatbot. And so we will also connect our chatbot towards our open data project, so that the information that is then, you know, in the chatbot that is communicated to potential customers is in the best possible way accurate, up to date, and makes sense and creates some value for the people coming to Germany. So that's it. If you have questions about one of these topics, you can reach out to me. There's also a nice, I haven't shown it yet, but there is a nice website for the open data in tourism. You can also test it. You can put in destinations and see Germany and try to understand what open data is available already. That's it for my part. And then I hope that, Sergio is online again.
Sehr gut. Dankeschön. Thank you very much, dear Matthias, for showing us how to combine more traditional data with AI, and how this allows more customized solutions in your dashboard to get more insights, to enable interaction too, and also to maximize that data-driven decision, which is also very important. And thank you also for sharing, you know, how are you applying also open data, which is also Very interesting. So we will get back to you with questions, Matthias. Please remember that you can leave your questions in the chat box for the speakers, because we will have, in the end, after all the presentations, a session of Q&A. So without further ado, I will give the floor now. Sergio, I see you. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, everyone, and good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting us to participate. Sorry for the black screen incident that I had just a few minutes, and thank you very much, Matthias, for filling the spot. I'm opening my presentation. I hope that you can see my screen. Is it available? Okay, cool. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for this opportunity and also for being part of this. And I think the presentations that I've heard since the beginning already made my day in terms of learning. And I think one of the most important opportunities of being part of these events is sharing our small steps, but also benefiting from learning for the ones that are also taking their chances into complex topics, because I think everybody talks about artificial intelligence, about the impacts of artificial intelligence, but it's far from being an easy topic to explore. Building also on the work that Jane presented on the OECD work on this, we see several potential applications that artificial intelligence can make in terms of the tourism sector. So improving, first of all, the visitor experience. Some examples were already passed on that. Enhancing market intelligence in data application. I'm filling a little bit the blanks also of Matthias and following, and we have the pleasure also to share responsibilities in the same area in our organizations. Then another very important topic to be addressed, and looking forward to see solutions on this, is how to optimize visit flows around destinations, supporting costs optimization. And here I would open the floor for the private sector and the role of the governments also in supporting the private sector, both in cost optimization or in automating internal processes. So my presentation for today, and I brought a few information about our few steps in this field, focusing on, I would say, two different angles of the role of an organization like the National Tourism Board of Portugal. One is how we are applying in our own work some layers of artificial intelligence, let's call it like that. So in very humble way, it's not rocket science, but it's a progress. And that's the way that I see technology, because if we're going for rocket science, we will be probably updated in 3 months. And the second one is also how can we drive, and picking on our colleague from Lithuania in the beginning, how can we use also our ecosystem to foster the companies' abilities to progress in this field. So going to the market intelligence, our first project that we are actually developing now, and I think this is a pre-launch because it's not yet launched here in Portugal. We are finishing, and I think 1.5 weeks to launch this platform. And building on what Sandra Carvão mentioned a few years ago. So there is a lot of information, there is a lot of data, a lot of reports, too many things that are available these days. And one of the hardest things that we have in our table is how to digest that information and how to guarantee that within our resources we can ask any question. So what we've been developing around here is a knowledge hub, which is a strategic intelligence platform that we are building here in our office. And what we are doing is uploading into the cloud several reports, dashboards, information for many data sources. And we are doing that. We are using that repository organized through key issues. And what the platform allows us to do is, by selecting key issues, we can understand which are the topics related to those issues, and we have the ability of using an AI tool to actually summarize in a very practical way what is the content that we have in several reports, so we can advance in terms of knowledge of a certain topic. Just giving a very short video to understand. So these are the topics that we're covering today, from accessibility to water, to climate change, to economy, to employment, to training, to innovation and entrepreneurship, risk management, whatever. So what we actually do, and I hope that you can see the video moving, so we can select from any of these. Let's select technology. And for technology, we have several key issues that we identified. So we selected data and big data. And what the output of this platform will give us is what are the contents that are in our knowledge base that can help us to feed. We can access instantly the report that we have in our repository. That can be documents from any partner company, any report that we find it useful for our topics. It can be presentations that someone did, some like the presentations that we had in this session. If we upload them to our system, we can understand which are the different layers of things, and we can also have media on that. So a short video on this in this topic is about wine tourism. And actually, the most important thing is we can use we can do direct search, and after this we can select several publications, and we can do a summary of those publications, and we can extract them to something that it's workable from our side. This is I would say, in terms of impact, a little bit basic. That's the summarization that you can see. So you can have a summary, a quick summary of the report, and you can download that summary into a presentation, into fostering knowledge. And the idea here is, how can we answer a few questions? Is tell me everything that you need to know about wine tourism. So everything that it's in my knowledge base, with 2 or 3 clicks and 30 seconds, I can have an output sent to my product development area to say everything you need to know about a certain topic is fully available. So another block of a piece of work that we are already doing right now, and also based in a project that we did with OECD and DG Reform, we are building a forecasting model for predicting tourism demand and tourism revenue. And what we are also trying to do is not having a simple forecasting model, which wouldn't be AI at all. But what we are building on top of that is a simulator that can help us to understand what can be a potential impact if I change any of the variables of my model. Imagine that if I'm foreseeing that Germany is one of my most important markets, but I foresee that the unemployment rate in Germany will go up 2 percentage points in the next year. What's gonna make that into the demand from the German market to our country? So this is something that it's actually being designed these days. So hopefully in the beginning of 2025 will be available for us. On thinking about our role also to fostering innovation within the tourism ecosystem as a whole, we've designed pretty much in the similar way that Lithuania was mentioning. We've designed an ecosystem here in Portugal since 2017. We have a very robust approach to this. We have 15 programs of innovation every year with 250 startups participating. We have already 1,700 startups within our ecosystem, and our ecosystem is startups, is accelerators and incubators, is universities, is venture capital and business angels, but it is also the corporates and the most important one. So every and each innovation program that we launch, corporates are the ones with the needs, setting up the needs, and the role of the ecosystem is to find and to scout potential solutions for those issues. Focus here is quite important because innovation can be everything. So we focus on 5 big pillars. One is visitor experience. Another one is sustainability. Mobility is the third one. And the ones that I'm bringing 2 examples is smart management and operations efficiency. And it is one area where we clearly see the role of AI as something that it's ready. So it's not thinking about potential or future potential of AI to solve things. It's actually things that are manageable today. One of the startups of our ecosystem that it's growing significantly and incredibly. They were born in the tourism sector, and they are now selling more outside of the tourism sector than in the tourism sector. And that was something that I brought here on purpose, also as a provocation for the tourism sector as a whole. Is there is a lot of potential, but other sectors like retail or insurance, they pretty much look at these technologies in a more practical way in terms of understanding transformations that they need to do. And this is Visor AI is one example. It is a chat virtual assistant that can support any company in interacting with their customer. They are already working with the city of Lisbon, but they have very good example cases in the insurance company where they replaced 100% all the contact centers from the company. So you can solve with one click any issue that you have in your with your customers. And this is also working in hotels. So how can you instantly check if you need something in your room, if you need to request food, room service, whatever, everything is possible. And they managed to have 80% of a resolution of cases just within the chatbot. So very interesting tool, very useful tool that it's working. It's not a huge investment in terms of an hotel or a travel agent to build in, and it's something that it's absolutely critical these days, especially when everyone is talking about the lack of human resources in the tourism sector. So let's try to use technology for things that cannot or can be done by machine, and let's leave our brilliant employers to the human contact that it's needed with the tourists. Another one is we are all our programs are international, and Big Scout was actually a very interesting surprise 2 years ago. They were part of our programs, and what actually they do, they use artificial intelligence as a platform with several applications, but one of them was to read emails and transform emails into database orders and service orders within a company. And our travel agency, this was a program with several travel agencies participating, and the travel agents looked at this as a fantastic opportunity because they had 95% of success within this technology, which is they read the emails that someone from the travel agency received with requests of book me this room or book me this conference center. And instantly, without any human contact, those requests were passed through the database and with an automatic flow in terms of delivering. So it was replacing a lot of hours of human work within this field and making the company more and more efficient. This was a funny thing because when they participated in our program and became part of our ecosystem, they were based in Barcelona. And now the success of the platform transfer them to San Francisco and to Silicon Valley. So two excellent cases of things that are available, that technology, that it's available, and it's not rocket science in terms of application for companies that we are fostering the use in our ecosystem. And this would be all from my side. Still small steps within this area, but I believe that also progress is made of small steps. So feel free to interact or happy to ask any question from your side, guys. Thank you.
Obrigado, dear Sergio. Thank you very much for your fantastic presentation. It's great to see Turismo de Portugal constantly innovating. So thank you for sharing your knowledge accelerator, because it's not only producing knowledge, but also making it more understandable and making it more easily accessible. I think this is important too. Thank you also for highlighting your collaboration with startups, which I think makes the perfect bridge, NTO, a startup, and we will see, the examples by some of the startups in the next session. So now let's move to the east, to Asia. Last but not least, but saving the best for last, as we say. So we are pleased to have with us directly, real time, from the Republic of Korea, Ms. Yu Young Hong Elizabeth, senior researcher at the Korea Tourism Organization, who is going to present us all the features of the Korea Tourism Data Lab, especially focusing on measuring crowdedness with data and AI. Thank you very much, Elizabeth, and the floor is yours.
Yes, hello, good day to all those who are participating in the online workshop today. My name is Jiyeon Hong. You could call me Elizabeth, and I'm a senior researcher at the Korea Tourism Organization, tourism consulting team. So let me share my slides with you. So, as a part of the tourism data department, the role of our team is to provide different perspectives and insights about ongoing tourism issues or trends based on data analysis in the tourism sector. So, in that manner, I would like to share a couple of data analyzing cases that we've recently carried out. But first, I would like to introduce our data platform, which is called the Korea Tourism Data Lab. So the Data Lab is a tourism specialized big data platform that provides tourism big data and integrated analysis services. The platform is meant to support stakeholders in the tourism industry. For example, tourism businesses, local governments, and industry professionals. And this is how the main page used to look like. We recently had a renovation of the website, so let me share with you the new version of the platform. So we don't really have a official English version, but we always have Google Translation. So this is how the platform would look like if it was in English. Unfortunately, we only provide the services in Korean. So you can check the it's not working. So this would be how it would look like. It's not written in English, but this is how it looks like. So let me go to the So as you can see, the main services that can be found in the Korea Tourism Data Lab would include tourism statistics, tourism big data, which is mostly based on mobile communication data, credit cards data, navigation, and even social media. And we also have regularly issued trend reports based on tourism data analysis. So let me introduce in the next chapter, I'll show you one of the dashboards provided through the Korea Tourism Data Lab, which is called the Status of Population Declining Areas. So I believe most of you have heard that there are issues around countries that are facing population declining, and actually South Korea is one of them. So the government is urgently looking for solutions to address this problem, and tourism has often been highlighted as the potential countermeasure. So these are the captured images from the Korea Data Lab. And it's actually hard to for me to provide all the details about the data, but it's mainly based on credit card data, consumption data, the big data, and it's integrated with public data from, for example, the Bank of Korea, Statistics Korea, and the National Travel Survey. So on the left-hand side is the population declining area status map, where you can find the areas that are designated as a declining or population declining caution areas as of 2022, and each marked in red or orange among the 250 cities and regions in South Korea. On the right-hand side of the page is the status of regional tourism and non-tourism consumption, where you can see tourism and non-tourism consumption of residents consuming within and outside the region. In the next page, there is the tourism substitution effect by region, which shows the estimates of total consumption per resident by region or city. One interesting fact is that you can find the number of overnight and day trip tourists that are required to replace the local consumption loss caused by the decrease of one residence of each region. So moving on to the next chapter, now I would like to briefly introduce an ongoing analysis project that is being conducted by our team. And the name of the project is called Study on Methods for Measuring Congestion at Major Tourist Destinations. This was initiated to find ways to provide real-time measurements and monitoring solutions to alleviate the inconveniences experienced by tourists and prevent safety accidents caused by overcrowding at popular tourist sites or festivals. To accomplish these objectives mentioned on the slide, we chose 3 destinations to conduct an analysis. And today I will be sharing the procedure taken for the first destination. It was a coffee festival held in October in 2024 in the Gangneung City, Gangwon Province. So we originally planned to measure overcrowdedness through using video data, maybe collected by security cameras or by drones. But however, during the process, we realized that it's quite challenging to capture individuals and accurately recognizing them as people. So especially in outdoor locations like festivals. So if you see from the picture, there are green squares marked. There are individuals that was extracted from the video data, and the red areas are the areas that we weren't able to collect the individual data because either the people were inside buildings or behind trees, or they were lying down on the ground, or there were too many people overlapping each other, so it was very hard to recognize them. So for these reasons, we had a lot of limitations. So we had very limited time and budget to develop a more sophisticated AI algorithm for visual data recognition. So we came up with another plan. So as a makeup for the shortcomings of video data analysis, we decided to use the IoT, Internet of Things devices. By using this device, we were able to recognize individuals by their mobile signal, and it could also detect how far a person was away from one device, and even how they were moving toward another device, which would mean that we were able to analyze the movement paths of individuals. So in the next page, it shows the degree of congestion through heat maps on different time periods. And the key findings show that the highest congestions were recorded during the evening hours. And on the other hand, the congestion was more spread out during the daytime. And this is my last chapter. And the last database analyzing case would be about the development of the Tourism Vitalization Index. We realized that people had access to the data lab, but they weren't sure which data to use and to combine and to make insights on their own. So we kind of developed an index that could show compare each regions just with one number. So actually, there was a first version of the index developed 2 years ago. Its results is currently provided through the Korea Tourism Data Lab as a dashboard, but this version only composed of big data such as mobile, credit card, and navigation data, which means that it only provides insight on the demand side. So we decided to advance this index by adding the supply side of tourism. So after plenty of literature review, we thought it would be best to organize the categories and indicators in accordance to the Travel and Tourism Development Index provided by the World Economic Forum. So as a result, the new tourism vitalization index was divided into two major categories, the supply side and the demand side. And you can see the detailed categories, subcategories, and detailed indicators in each table. And the data of the tourism supply indicators were obtained from public or private sources, either by directly searching or downloading from relevant websites or through web crawling. And the data for the tourism indicators are composed of tourism big data that we already have in the Korea Tourism Data Lab. This would be an example if we upgrade the current version of the vitalization index to the new one, it would probably look like the slide on the image on the left. So yeah, that would be all to share with you today. I hope you found these cases interesting. I know that I wasn't able to cover that much details today due to the time limits, but thank you for your attention, and I look forward to any further questions and thoughts.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. We really appreciate your presentation and your time also, because we know that it's a little bit late there. But I always say that Asia, it's a different world, and this is reflected in all the features you have in your Korea Tourism Data Lab, and how you are measuring also the social dimension of tourism, which is very important in terms of aging population, in terms of congestion, in terms of that regional tourism vitalization index that you have also built with data and technology. So thank you very much. Elizabeth, and now I think, I mean, it's the Q&A session, and we have very little time. I think maybe Cordula, 10 minutes for the Q&A.
Thank you so much. Well, I would say we shorten the question and answer session by 5 minutes. So let's see if maybe in the function question and answers, if there are any questions for the speakers of this panel. I don't see any at this moment.
I have a question here. I mean, on my mobile directly for Matthias. So Matthias, get ready for the question because this is addressed to you. Very direct, very straightforward. Who is this dashboard data available to? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a fair question. So, I mean, we are using and connecting lots of data that is paid data, you know, data that we receive from commercial partners. And those partners, of course, have an interest that the data is not spread across the whole country, across Germany, to all potential customers from their point of view. Therefore, we limit it towards our members. So we have around 70 members, touristic bodies, and they get the access to it. But having said this, we are also considering of releasing some parts of this to any external party. For example, when you think about the carbon emission, you know, the one slide I just briefly showcased with the feature of the AI executive summary, that could be very interesting for many parties and could be very interesting for destinations, you know, that go through certifications, that go like also this certification bodies, they could make use of it. And those parts we might release for the public in the future.
Thank you very much, Matthias. I have another question here. I think, I mean, any one of you can answer. Can we please elaborate more regarding the data ownership issue and how this can impact DMOs when establishing AI-based promotions? A candidate, maybe Sergio or Antanas? No one?
No, I think it was my presentation was not on data or data ownership for marketing purposes, but I can share my thoughts on that, which is I think one of the challenges when we talk about digital transformation within the tourism sector is how destinations can foster their digital presence and the digital presence of their assets and have the ownership of the content that it's available. So imagine a region and you can set up a database of points of interest and data related to that. And by data can be everything, can be a picture, can be a description of a place. And it is very important how destinations can actually make their way. Otherwise, someone will write about a certain museum in the way they can, and basically producing some content and some opinion on a certain asset that should be managed by destinations. When we're talking, and that is my perspective on the topic, is there is a role for local DMOs and a coalition of regional DMOs, perhaps, to actually have their digital presence in this sense very well organized. So you can feed, and I think Matthias was the one talking about the open data platform, which is if you have then an open data platform that you share to anyone that wants to promote, develop business on, and so on, if you guarantee that there is quality of the information that you're setting and you're giving to the market, the guarantees that the other ones will use that correct information and quality information, I think it's a benefit for destinations around the world, and also for businesses because it's less costly in terms of building new content.
Thank you very much, dear Sergio, for your answer. I don't know if Antanas is there. Otherwise, we have a last question, and any one of you also can answer. It's a very disruptive one. Do you
I'm
think
still
that
there, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you think that that AI will disrupt the traditional travel agencies?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry, I'm now in the car going to give the training for one of the biggest chains in Lithuania, but I think it's not a question if, it's a question when. Because I'm already working with quite a lot of traveling agencies, and we already see so many innovations there. So, for example, we're talking about the customer service agents, so they will be replaced, I would say, within 2 years. We have such a great agents right now that are being created by the companies like HeyGen, like from Meta, from the other companies, where you can create your own avatar and actually give those tips, suggestions, personalized experiences, personalized suggestions for the travel plans for those travelers. So I think it's not a question if, it's the question when.
Wonderful. I'm getting more questions, but I think this is it because we don't have time. I'm getting even a question from the Zambian Tourism Agency, but maybe our colleagues from Zambia can contact any of the speakers on the data space and how to establish strategic partners, to accomplish that. But I think, it has been very interesting, very enriching. Thank you very much for this very insightful session where we have achieved the aim to learn from each other. There are many opportunities. You have mentioned some of them regarding the use of AI and data in terms of more market intelligence, in terms of enabling predictions, cost optimization, process, et cetera, but there are also challenges regarding, of course, the reliability and quality of data, regarding also the training, which is very important, how to educate, people to effectively use, those technologies and the access to that advanced technology. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Cordula, thank you very much to the speakers. Thank you very much to you. And I think we deserve a short break.
No, actually not.
Not? Okay.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and thanks all the speakers for fantastic presentations and great insights. But you do the short, we are running a little bit late, and I believe that we should continue. Maybe Jane, you wanted to say something? No, okay, because your hand is up. I think we should continue immediately because we are running a little bit late for not keeping us too long in the sessions, because now we are turning to the next topic, namely about companies. We want to see what companies are doing at this moment, and I have pleasure in giving the floor and the moderating role of this session to my dear colleague, Antonio Lopez de Avila. Antonio, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cordula. Thank you so much. Yeah, after a very exciting panel with the destinations, now we are going through the private sector. And maybe you know that we started in 2018 to work on challenges. So we can identify talent and solutions that people were thinking about how to help the destinations. So after these 6 years, we have organized like 35 challenges around the world. We have more than 400 startups and scale-ups in our UN Tourism Innovation Network. So today, I'm super pleased to welcome four of our finalists or winners of these challenges working on AI-based technologies that are helping already destinations all around the world. So first, to start, because I know we are really a little bit late, to start, I would like to invite Vincent Guittet, Head of Growth of Quantum Temple, from Indonesia. So, Vicente, you have 7 minutes. Please share with us your solutions and how you're helping your destinations to survive these difficult times.
Thank you so much, Antonio, for having me and Cordula as well. Yes, with pleasure. Let me share my screen. All right, so hi everyone, I'm Vincent from Quantum Tempo. We're the digital platform for originally achieved travel. What does that mean? It means really that we're fighting one big problem in the industry, which is for every $100 spent on a tour holiday, only $5 actually stays in the developing nation economy. And our goal is to, bring that $5 to a much higher percentage to the final money actually spent by customers and tourists. I'm Vincent. My background has been about, almost a decade in travel and experiences, tech companies such as Expedia, Vrbo, Away. I've worked with startups like with Combinator and such. And already 8 years ago, we started, building AI on the V1 version that was shared earlier. Search engine algorithm on Expedia, RAI, and image classification to understand what is on the image. Is it a swimming pool? Is it, all these things were quite hard to do at the time, and now it's much, much more accessible, which means everybody here in Discord can actually implement it at a very cheap cost and also very fast. Thinking as well about how did we think about personalization of advertising algorithm that we did at the time. So this is just more accessible today, and also the technology is simpler. And so my goal for this, I think for this, I was thinking, okay, there's a lot of, ways and a lot of speakers, and I think I agree with what you said so far. One of the key changes that I want to bring is, and how are we doing it? And what are we thinking even as a vision, as a company? Being not, just an AI company, and we're actually on a Web3 company as well, which I'll explain in a second. But for me is how can I help you have a clear vision of what the AI potential in the specific concept that you have, and the practical ideas, that you can start implementing immediately within your company or your organization or even your team, and the companies to take the first step. So our mission is really to inspire global leaders through transformative connections and what we define as experiential density, like the richness and depths of experiences that one can have throughout their entire lives. Our goal is to really bridge, the ancient wisdom for the expression of the future change makers. So basically what we do is we're trying to keep and preserve the cultural heritage and to bring it to the world today. And we do this through innovation, and we call that intentional innovation. So everything we do, even if we use AI or blockchain, for example, blockchain for our ticketing platform, or for our social impact fund, which is fully traceable and trackable. And we also build physically backed, so artifacts or gifts that you can have in actual objects that actually you can also have an NFT around. So it's kind of the cultural, we preserve the culture through technology. And so when we think about AI, for us, it's really about something that is happening and will happen. 85% of the customers' interaction in the tourism industry will be powered by AI by 2025. Where that is up to us. So no matter what, people are using AI because it simplifies and it solves problems. How do I search? Where do I go? Why is the trusted sources that I can, of that destination? What kind of guides should I get? What are the things that I should avoid? And there's AI, right? So it's ChatGPT, all these kind of sources, there's content. So Google search is also AI powered, right? And you have TikTok, where a lot of new travelers are also looking at TikTok, Instagram, social media. And so how do we think about this, right? To really leverage AI in an intentional way, and that actually is helping the destinations. So it's been explained a little bit more, but I like to always kind of really simplify massively what we mean by AI. Today, the current AI we talked about is large language models. And those AIs, if I kind of make a metaphor of this, are basically students. Students, we have sped read every single book on the internet, on the planet, articles and web pages they could find. So they have an amazing memory for facts, information. They can speak multiple languages fluently, and they can quickly connect different ideas they've learned. But it comes with challenges, which you've seen of these challenges as well, I think, in previous chat conversation before. So they confidently give you incorrect answers. Like a student who might have misunderstood the material. They are limited to the knowledge that they studied, so any book that they've seen. What about the books that they didn't have because it wasn't in library? They also need guidance to understand, how to apply the knowledge they had so far. And they might repeat the information they have, but they've not fully understood the meaning. For example, if we think about immigration visa, it's quite a complex context. How does that work? Cultural stories. Do I have the fact of the story, but do I know and understand truly the meaning behind the story? And their understanding of something might be biased. If you read 100 books about one topic in one way, and only one book in another way, your knowledge and the way you will recollect that information will be highly biased in that first version. So how do we think about helping the students perform better? We need to think about additional training. We need to bring in clear guidance and implement backing, training wheels or safeguards to make sure that they're understanding and actually providing the information that is necessary and not just the random information that is actually incorrect or not exactly what we need. And so the challenges in AI, a lot of them have been mentioned so far, but I'll focus on three. AI, hallucination, and misinformation. Hallucination is basically the idea that the student or the AI, right, is telling you something that it believes is true, but it's actually not true. Or it doesn't actually know the information, but it will still be very confident and be like, I know this answer is this. And so that's what we call hallucination, which is a massive problem in the industry. And I'll give an example in a minute. We also have quite a challenge around how do we integrate AI with our existing systems, right? Because a lot of solutions are quite complex to integrate. So how do we think about that? And how do we think about memory versus training? Training is very expensive, like it's been mentioned earlier before, and it's probably more about how do we think about training an AI, but in a much more, like, let's say we have ChatGPT. If we were to recreate ChatGPT in a very trained model, it would cost millions of dollars. So how do we think about partially training or providing memory to an AI or to a student? And so we need to recognize as well that AI is becoming harder and harder to recognize. So this is an example on YouTube of the chairman of LinkedIn, the founder of LinkedIn, where he actually created as well his own AI. And it's basically, you can't really tell which is which. And in the same aspect of this, you have the idea of AI can be inaccurate. The hallucination and misinformation that I provided earlier. This is a true use case where the Japanese prefecture actually posted about an attraction named Uminaka Happiness World that does not actually exist. And it was posted on the official website and picked up by a newspaper because customers and tourists were like, this doesn't actually exist. So this actually is something that happens already today. And we need to really think about how can we alleviate that and make sure that AI that we use, if we use them, are actually not hallucinating and we put safeguards around them. And how do we fight against misinformation? So now let's get into practical applications. I'm a technologist first, so I kind of want to really get into how do we build this and make you think about that it's actually feasible and practical. So we've built a 24/7 customer strat with internal data. So it's been mentioned already 3, 4, 5 times earlier. And I want to kind of explain why it's such a great approach and actually quite straightforward to implement. First, having a customer support chat that is, on AI is very different than the previous AI bots that you've had. The bots that existed before in chats were very much copy pasting information, giving you the information based on the question. It wasn't really that human-like understanding what you needed, etc. Today, what we're able to build is fully personalized travel recommendations based on our own data, based on our own classification of experiences, and based on even the customers. How many kids do they have? What are the age of the kids? Are our experiences, friendly for 10-year-old kid or 3-year-old kids? Is it too long? Is it not too long for this kind of child, etc.? And so personalization actually becomes one of the core aspects. Now, another part is also we can provide linked to specific requests. So it's not just blurbing information, it's also providing, well, if you need more information, if you want a book, you can also go to this website where the actual true information or the source of the information is. We also have multi-language support, retrieve advanced knowledge database, so you can actually provide the itinerary details. And finally, you can actually have a human take over when the AI doesn't have the answer. So instead of the AI saying something random, you actually have an AI and a human take over and actually respond to the customer and question. And the next version of this will be, you can actually talk directly on the phone with AI, so it will be faster. The second practical application we've created is with Paksang. Paksang is our head of storytellers in Bali. He's a formidable leader here in Bali, and he's really helped train our new storytellers, which are basically our guides, but they really tell their own story. And what we've created is an AI enhanced training agent. So basically every tour recorded, internal or B2B, are audio recorded. Then we process that recording through our own AI. So we analyze the recording, we cross-reference it with our previous tour material, internal company database, external reputable sources, fact-checking protocols, and then we provide an output to Paksang. And this is a draft training material for the new guides. List of information gaps and misinterpretation with sources. So for example, he might be telling a story, but we fact-check that information with sources and we say, actually, this is not the exact year, this is the real year. Because Paksang is a local community leader. He isn't a PhD in history doctor, right? And so we wanted him to tell the story of Bali, the true history and cultural heritage of Bali, but we also want to support him and help him and train him and the team to actually make sure they represent the right way Bali. And finally, also provide him with feedback on the narrative structure and his English clarity, which, by the way, also can end up as well bringing all the questions that were asked and how those questions were answered by him, and if they need also some extra training. So we're empowering Paksang to provide quality consistency across storytellers, simplify his training, right? Removing the manual documentation burden, streamlining the training process, and helping with the knowledge transfer. And finally, in terms of knowledge management, we can bring all these recording across all storytellers, take all their knowledge together and create the ultimate training package and support for them. Because what we want is our storytellers to tell the best stories that they can in the way that they want. And finally, the third version is really much more about a bigger problem in the tourism industry and AI, which is trust and misinformation. Nowadays, we have challenges around how do we think about, like on Instagram, people will be like, oh, this happened in Bali, or certain comments or some posts and articles. And misinformation is a big problem. And that affects the trust of the destination. And it happens for Bali as well. And so it's something we're actually building right now and thinking is like, how do we think about fixing that on our own scale, but also helping local governments? So if we were to take all the super chats, whether they're AI or not AI, the social media monitoring, so all the we monitor all the comments on Instagram and social media. We gather all the internet, all the comments and posts on newspapers and blogs. And we put that all in an AI where we try to understand patterns. Then we check this against knowledge library. That knowledge library is built upon from government data, partners data, our own internal data, and reputable sources. And then we actually extract it and try to understand three things. What is the content gap and need? What are the content that we see out there that are completely wrong? And we need to create content to optimize for understanding better a destination. So creating new articles, maybe more regional, seasonal specific information, providing better FAQs from user interaction, right? So from the super chat, but also comments or questions that have been asked on Instagram. We can also extract all that data into automated reports, tourist pain points, sentiments, trend and preference tracking, and provide this to a human reviewer, which then helps support on improving the services we provide, whether it's within the governments, this is within our own company as well. So when we think about all of this, it's trying to tackle the trusting of information, but providing the right information. And a more aggressive thinking that I think I just want to share across, here leaders in the tourism industry is we could also be much more aggressive and comment. So having agents that directly comment on social media for posts and comments that are completely wrong and a misinterpretation of destination. And why this is possible versus before, it's possible because of the scale. And an AI now can automatically monitor, process, understand whether it's actually accurate or inaccurate, and comment back saying it's inaccurate. And here's the link on the official website where the true information
I'm afraid you're taking too much time.
I'm done. Thank you so much. So we're building AI agents that serve a clear purpose. Even if it only makes team 30% better, that's a win for us. And AI that deliver real results. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions or you need support within your team as well, please reach out to us. Thank you so much, and sorry for that.
Thank you, Vincent. Now we go to Spark Hayes. I give the floor to Kirti Chandel. She's the founder and CEO. The company is based in Singapore, but the last time I saw her, she was in Saudi Arabia. So, Kirti?
I'm currently still in Saudi Arabia, so yes.
No, floor is yours. Please, 7 minutes.
Thank you. Sure. First of all, good afternoon and good evening, everyone. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present at Power of AI Shaping Tomorrow's Tourism. My name is Kirti Chandel. I'm a CEO and founder for Sparkle Haze, and we are a data and digital transformation company focusing on hospitality and tourism. We have been quite fortunate enough to recognize as one of the most innovative tourism products since our last launch last year. So we have won the Women in Tech Award at the World Tourism Day in Riyadh last year. And since then, we have also won an award with the Singapore Tourism Board, Saudi Tourism, and Dubai Tourism as well. So as you can say, 2024 is famously remembered as the year of COVID. And since then, the beginning of this year, travel has been back with vengeance. But the travel and hospitality industry is facing new challenges, somewhere from, you can say, massive skilled staff shortage, hospitality trying to find different ways to generate more revenue, and there have been government and UN mandates around sustainability and SDG goals. While working with tourism boards globally, like Singapore Tourism and Saudi Tourism Board, we realized that 99% of the hotel room consist of traditional devices like a phone, alarm clock, speaker, paper-based menus, and are not ready to be digitally transformed. All of you can actually relate with the image that we see there, that most of the, you can see the hotel actually consists of these traditional devices. And most of you can actually relate to as well that whenever you call from a phone, nobody answers. And even if somebody answers, the item never gets delivered. And we think we are able to fix the problem. We can significantly help the hospitality industry. So our team was working continuously with some of the top Silicon Valley designers and engineers, and we built Woohoo X Series, an all-in-one device that combines all the traditional side table devices into one single device. So I present to you Woohoo X Series. It's a generative AI-powered in-room assistant. It is beautiful design, smart, minimalistic, and we believe this is the future of the hotel rooms. Woohoo X Series is integrated with more than 100 plus hospitality applications in the backend. And we use AI-based recommendation engine to help understand the tourist or the guest requirements and upsell promotions and offers. It is not just a device, but it's a marketplace within the room. Although Woohoo X Series, we are able to boost local economy, use generative AI videos to actually interact with the guests, which actually enhances a lot on the guest experience and engagement. Since last year, we have also interacted with more than 400,000 tourists, 100 plus nationalities, and generated 7.5 million AD and saved up to 15% energy in a hotel. This is a sample data and insight dashboards that helps to understand tourist preferences and their requirements and can help hotels and tourism board to get better understanding of their customers. This is a value engineering slide we did with one of our customer. But if you look at the column 2 before Woohoo, that is basically the traditional devices in the room, and column 3, which is after Woohoo has been deployed, you can see a significant improvement in the revenue, customer experiences, and operational efficiency. Hence, it's a very good example of how AI can help the hospitality and tourism industry. Also, I would like to take a quick opportunity to introduce one of our latest AI product, and we know it's close to everyone's heart. This is a personal wellness pod that is powered by generative AI avatar. A generative AI avatar is not a human, and many people who suffer from stress and mental wellness issue, but do not want to interact with a psychologist, they can actually, and because they feel judged, they can use this wellness pod at the airport lounge, malls, offices, etc. We have been focusing on the sustainability and covers 4 SDG goals, like the SDG 7, 8, 9, and 11. These are some of the, you can say, offerings that we have of Tourism Data Hub. We help the local economy and community engagement, sustainability and energy efficiency, sell inventory by promotion and offers, 360 tourism feedback and review, as that's very important. Automate and address the staff shortage. It also helps the guests to know about what is happening in the city, and also helps with the personalized wellness and guided sleep. So to summary, although Woohoo AI Assistant, we can help boost tourism economy, promote green hospitality, and help tourism board and hotels to understand tourist preferences. So this actually summarizes how AI can actually help with all over in tourism. And also hospitality is all about experiences. So this is where the AI can actually help a lot. Thank you.
Sorry, I was talking. I didn't notice that my micro was off. So sorry. Thank you so much, Kirti, for your explanation or for the good managing of time. Now we jump from Saudi Arabia to France. Now I would like to invite Olivier Lebleu, Jox Application, founder and CEO. So Olivier, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me just share my screen. Okay, my screen should be on now. Is that okay? Well,
Yeah.
good afternoon. My name is Olivier. I'm the founder of Jukes, and I'm excited to share how we at Jukes, a 9-year-old small startup in the tourism industry, have embraced AI to innovate in the tourism industry and what the future holds for this exciting intersection. Now, let me begin by introducing Jukes, which is an app that redefines the way we explore cities worldwide. Jukes is an app that allows you to discover hundreds of cities, in fact, over 450 cities around the world while running, walking, cycling, or wheelchairing. Now, think of it as a combination of a voice GPS and an audio guide with over 30,000 points of interest available in 12 languages. What makes Jukes unique is that it brings storytelling to exploration by narrating remarkable points of interest along the way. It integrates big data and AI to enhance the user experience in health and well-being. And one of our standout features is real-time air quality and allergen integration, enabling users to avoid polluted or uncomfortable areas. Now, Jukes also contributes to a better environment by planting a tree for every 100 kilometers traveled. And so with Jukes, users stay fit, learn about destinations, and make a positive environmental impact. Now, when it comes to AI, it plays a critical role in our journey to innovate, both in operations and users' experience. Let me explain. In operation efficiency, AI allows us to do more with less. Our content team, for example, which creates those 30,000 points of interest, has increased content creation by 10 times. The quality of our text has also significantly improved thanks to AI tools, despite the fact that we still create most of our content by hand, so with a human intervention. In terms of enhanced guest experience, AI-driven neural voices now power our guides, which are vocal, offering natural, engaging audio compared to traditional synthesizers, or even actors that are much more immersive, but also much more expensive. Our translations are faster and more accurate with things like DeepL, for example. In fact, we translate the content more than 300 times faster than we used to do, with the potential to expand from 12 languages today to 33 languages in no time, or while reducing the cost by over 90%. So altogether, we have reduced our workforce 3 times while doing more than we used to do 3 years ago. So this is the power of AI. Now, we're not using AI for everything. While AI offers incredible possibilities, we're deliberate about its use. And we don't use AI for creating images, despite the fact that this is an AI-created image, which doesn't look good to us. By designing the routes that we take our customers onto, and we never use AI to generate content for our B2B commercial contracts. We believe that certain aspects of a service require human touch to ensure quality, creativity, and authenticity. Now, despite its strength, AI has limitations in auto-creating. Also, the auto-creation of routes lacks the precision and cultural nuance that humans bring. And while 95% of AI-generated content is high quality, spotting and correcting the 5% of errors remains a real challenge. So our solution is AI combined with human intervention. And by pairing AI speed and efficiency with human oversight, we ensure high quality and reliable output. Now, looking ahead, AI will probably unlock even more exciting possibilities for Jukes within the next 2 years, so we're very short term here. One, content generation based on the calendar suggests, meaning that we will suggest experiences based on hotel, transport, bookings, and weather. Two, by providing AI-generated local experiences and circuits routes enabling unique but hyper-localized explorations. 3, with real-time conversations with users while they're running, walking, cycling, based on geolocation. Now imagine asking all the questions you have about a landmark as you pass. And 4, the most promising will be AI-driven software development. This will basically probably allow us to increase the speed of updates and adding new functionalities much faster than what we used to do, cutting down the cost of development quite dramatically. Now, to conclude, AI has transformed how Joox operates and the value it provides to users. But as much as AI innovates, the human touch remains essential to ensure quality, creativity, and trust. And as we look into the future, AI will continue to help us create richer, more personalized tourism experiences, bringing technology and exploration closer together than before. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts about and answer any questions about how we use AI to innovate. Thank you for your attention. If you're interested in learning more about Joox, feel free to visit joox.app. And let's explore the future of tourism, one step and one innovation at a time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Olivier. Thank you very much for your presentation, for the clarity of ideas, the excellent management of time. And of course, this is kind of reminder to everyone that you have a Q&A application in the Zoom software, so you can send your questions to our panelists, so we can check them later on. And I would like to give the floor now to Twistic. So from France, we go to Spain, to Canary Island, where we have Salvador Elena. Welcome, Salvador. This floor is yours.
Thank you and welcome. Very happy to be with you. Let me try to, I don't know if I can give you just the image of the company. So, yeah. Can you see it? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we are very proud to be here in this environment, and I represent a small company with a big heart. We are based in Gran Canaria. This is one of the Canary Islands in Spain. And from here, we serve hotels everywhere in the world, from California to Dubai, and expanding. So since the beginning, we've been assisting the hotel operation in anything concerning digital signage. So our star product is buffet electronic labels. We also serve with touch totems or screens, and anything regarding guest information with digital ground. So now we come with the AI, with a new and thrilling project on the set, let's say on the side door. So we are just launching an application that controls the food waste through intelligent vision. So we identify the food that is going to be wasted, and we weigh it, and this gives us an information about this so sensitive matter, which is the food waste. We give information about the carbon footprint and the hydric footprint, but the best thing of the application is that we organically help the hotel and the kitchens to reduce this food waste to a decent level. So in a world of hotel operations where everybody on board here have seen that hotel distribution, hotel marketing, and destinations are every day more into digital world, and including AI for their growth, operations has always been a little bit more kept to the handmade work. So now we are introducing this new tool in order to reduce the waste, which is a very honorable goal for our industry, and to enforce the targets for the Agenda 2030. So our vision on how AI will come to the hotel operation is that we have to help the paradigm revolution that we need in hotel organizations, staff organizations, services organizations, and we have to get all the information that we collect from our guests. We know almost every step they do, what time they consume, where do they go in our premises. So that must help us to be there when it's needed, when it takes. So the idea of building a smart destination should be translated into build a smart resort. So now the obstacles is that there too that the number of information that we handle is not so easy to bring into a practical conclusions, and that we see that our guests don't like to be hanging on mobiles or computers while they are on site in the hotels. So we have to find another physical channels to bring the information that they may need and appreciate in time when they are enjoying in their hotels. So I think that we are helping the industry with guest information and food waste to AI, and we are continuing bringing all the means to predict guest activities and be able to produce the information and the ways for the guests to get the services they would love to have in that moment not in a way that they would feel not comfortable during their holidays. So that's it. Our food wastage tool is called buffet waste. So I saw a question there.
Maybe Salvador, you want to put this also in the chat room so that we have the information. Yeah. I don't know, Antonio, probably on the phone. Here he is.
No, it's here.
Sorry.
I'm here. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Salvador. I see that your company is quite holistic, so you're doing a lot of things, different things for different solutions for hospitality sector. I'm sure you also will work for the public sector very, very, very soon. I don't know if we have any question because I was checking the Q&A. We don't have any questions so far, but I would like to ask you all, I mean, Vincent, Kirti, Olivier, Salvador, one question is related to the using of data, because we are all generating data within our operations, and we were talking about the needs of standardize the data so we can use it to compare different operations from different areas. Have you been asked from the public sector to share your data or to maybe to buy your data so they can have better knowledge of what are you doing or how can you help them to increase the promotional side or the operational efficiency of the destination? Maybe Vincent?
Yes, we actually directly work with governments, right? It's our go-to-market approach where we are supporting the the need of governments and tourism administrations to access the tourists that we want, high quality tourism. The second part is our business is very unique because we are on the blockchain. So every single data is open and accessible by the government, by the public. All our tickets are out there. So it's our approach to be fully transparent in the way we do tourism and social impact as well, and sustainability.
Thank you. Olivia? You're muted.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Indeed, like Vincent, most of our business comes from the public sector, local, regional, or even national public sector. However, we use some of their data, but we do not share the data of our users. Yeah, it's part of our RGPD or data protection scheme, despite the fact that some of them would want it. But we collaborate with them to create the best, to feature their destination as best as we can. Sometimes with their data, but sometimes they don't have any, and we then do our own and create our own. But that's how we, yeah.
Okay, Kirti?
We do get a request, yes, but currently I would say we've been working constantly with the government entities. So what we do is basically analyze the data and share the summary instead of actually sharing the proper data, like following the GDPR and PDPR compliance, following under that. But we work with government and all that to actually create a data hub where they can constantly understand and evaluate the data on a certain aspect without, you can say, giving away the personal information or any unnecessary information or more than that is needed. So we do share it with, you can say, tourism. How example I can give you of Singapore Tourism Board and Saudi Tourism Authority that we have been working with to understand what people are mostly attracted towards and what tourist attraction that they are actually looking for. So accordingly, they can actually create those kind of experiences so people can actually feel more welcome in that particular, you can say, country and understanding those experiences. So that kind of data we do share with the government entities and the hotel itself in agreement. But other than that, no, with the, you can say, a private sector and specifically, no, we don't share the data.
Okay, no, the thing is that, of course, you can share data without names, only maybe gender, nationality. That's it. So it helps a lot to the DMOs so they can understand better how the tourists are behaving in the destination. Salvador, any idea or any experience from the Canary Island?
No, basically, we all understand how conscious companies and individuals also share their own data when especially it affects the productivity or the finance. But I think it's when they have a reliable container, reliable receptor of their data that can ensemble all this information and give them the average numbers that can show themselves back if they are online or they are in better or worse condition. This is something that in the end, I come from the hotel operations industry as well. In the end, we all want to know if we are aligned or we are in better or worse condition than the environment. So we propose to the guest always to have the permit to create averages and guidelines and big numbers to be shared.
Okay, and this is what we can think about. We, as private companies, are generating data for the public side or just for other companies. But when you started, I'm thinking about Vincent mainly because it's a cultural thing, and you need to go there and find, let's say, tourism resources digitized, so you can just go there and take them to implement it within your application, within your software, within your solution. Is it easy to find these resources digitized, or you have to start from scratch?
I think it's a great question. We actually built that are cultural heritage, such as the bell from the bell makers in Bali. We actually implement our own chip, and that is then an NFT that is digitalized on our platform, and is working directly with the government to actually have this as an NFT that is actually backed by the government, rather so more like a museum approach, rather than being an NFT that is all the crypto things that people have heard out there. And so our approach is very much in providing the technology to keep the cultural heritage for the future.
Okay, and Olivia, your experience? Because you're working in rural areas or in urban areas, and you need to positionate everything. I mean, so it's the more digitized is the environment, the better is for you if you can have access to all these data, isn't it?
Well, usually tourism, what we need, well, we need several things. We need the, of course, the points of interest that you can see in all those countries. We cover 64 countries with our experiences, and usually finding the points of interest of worth of interest in those in those cities or destinations is not that difficult. What we struggle to find is something that is in the format that we are looking for. And this is where AI can greatly help us. And then we also require some information about the weather. That's easy to find, but pollution or air quality and the allergens is a bit more difficult. So we're picking up information in different models, applications, etc., to be able to warn people of any potential difficulties. So far, we've had to do all the points of interest writing ourselves because we couldn't find exactly, except in a few destinations, we couldn't find exactly what we were looking for. But now with AI, and this is where we're getting more and more productive, AI is really helping us to create those content. And this is how we've, in a few months, we've created as many points of interest as we had in the previous 8 years. With the same quality.
That was my second question. Yeah, that was my next question is, how are you using AI on your own benefits? I mean, to learn more and to develop your company in a better way, because it's I think it's important to use it, and so you can learn from your own operations, from your clients, and do a predictive analytics, and so you can just go further. As I see, Olivia, you are using it. Vincent, are you using it too?
If I may, Vincent, yes, of course, we're using it. It's not necessarily AI as such, it's just data analysis. However, yes, we have trackers on pretty much everything that the users do and where they go to that help us, define which functionalities we need, where we need to create some new experiences, for example. But also, as we were saying earlier, to provide usage statistics to our customers, our B2B customers, i.e., mainly the destinations, hotels, etc. But that's, yes, we do manage a huge amount of data.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe I can actually, I can add on to the second question that you were asking about the starting from the scratch, or do we get the data? To an extent, we do get a data from, you can say, a lot of tourism nowadays. You can see government boards, they are preparing their own data hubs where you can actually tap with and can actually get a data from there. But yes, still they are at a very initial stage. A lot of them, they don't have the data. So we do, I would not say starting from a complete scratch, but we do get a little bit of a heads up where we can actually do that. Answer to the third question, yes, we have been extensively, I would say, utilizing AI nowadays that it has actually come up. We try to do analysis. It actually helps a lot to drive analysis from the data, we are actually extensively using generative AI now, because that actually gives a more personalized experience. Now the generative AI is becoming more and more human, so we can actually create those to answer the questions and interact with the guest, which actually gives a lot of you could say edge to hotels as well as us to give more personalized experience to the guests that are staying.
Okay, thank you. Now we have the last question. This comes from the audience. How important does the panel think is the cooperation between DMOs, local government, and private companies in harnessing data and avoiding GDPR issues? I think we talked about it before, but how important is this connection to avoid any problem with the data protection, but at the same time being able to use data and AI and the analytics to be more efficient and to give a better experience to tourists? Who wants to answer?
Sure, go ahead.
Vincent.
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about how data is being used within AI. ChatGPT is the basis, and that's what people use. The technology behind it is OpenAI, with some models, and those models can actually be spinned off on Azure servers that are actually custom to your own data, right? So it's not accessible by any third party. That's the first one. The second one has been mentioned earlier. I'm very into like open source models, which actually can be on your own servers. You're a bigger corporation where you actually own your own servers. It's on your own server data. It's not even on a Azure or AWS. So I think is to do with how you actually keep that data, anonymize the data, and actually use it. AI itself is more of a model, and how you actually use the right models in the right environment to make sure that data is not shared out there. But AI is becoming so performant that you will be able to launch it from your phone, and it'll be as powerful as ChatGPT, and all the data will stay on your device. So I think it's not so much of an issue. It's more like, how do we actually gather data in the first place?
Yeah. Olivier, Kirti, Salvador.
Yes, basically, to me, RGPD is not such a problem. It is to a very, very few little number of people who, despite the nature of our application, for example, do not want to be localized, which means that they cannot use our app because we need to localize them to be able to guide them. But altogether, we have very, very little issues with RGPD, because RGPD is just about saying what you're going to do with your data. And if you tell them that you're going to sell your data, there's nothing wrong about it, but you just have to say it, which is not our case. But yeah, so it's not a major issue for us.
Okay, Kirti.
Maybe I can share as well a bit. So collaboration in between all of them is very important. And as being shared with everyone, these AIs are not really, I would say, a kind of a challenge for the data privacy. It just depends how you are using it. There are always a consumer usage, and there's always an enterprise usage. It's just a matter of like educating about them. Whenever there's a consumer usage, it's free. Usually you are the product, so your data is actually going to be available outside. But enterprises, whereas utilize these data and host them separately on servers, whether it's local or on a cloud, and they are completely isolated from you can say the World Wide Web, or the connection to where it can be easily accessible by everyone. So that is where, I guess, if we understand those differences and be able to share that data within, you can say, the entities and the government entities and the bodies that are connected and are supposed to be used for, that is where, I guess, the main value or the power of it lies.
Okay, thank you. Salvador?
Yes, in our case, we are very constricted to the activity in-house, inside the hotel, once the guest is in. So we are not handling about streams of guests deciding to go to this or that destination, but we handle the guest journey. So in this case, I think the usage of personal data, in this case, has to be a way to come to the point to offering our guests the best options according to what we know about their needs or about their lives, but in a way that their freedom can always be there, because maybe we understand something from guests while they are in their normal days, and when they go on holidays, they have other interests or other needs. So in our case, that's one of the challenges or risks of using so much data that we have from the guests, is to use them in a non-intruding way, while they can still choose all the services we give, even if we prioritize some that we may think that are more accepted by them.
Okay, so thank you so much. We are just in time, so thank you so much for your excellent pitches, for all the information you share with us, and for the knowledge you are managing nowadays related with AI and tourism applications. Thank you so much. And Cordula, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Antonio, and dear speakers, for great presentations. We are coming to the concluding remarks. Again, many, many thanks to all the speakers and to all the colleagues, especially our dear friends in Lithuania in the Ministry of Economy and Innovation. I will give in a minute the floor also to our dear colleague Lydia from the ministry, and also a big, big thank you to OECD, in particular Jane Stacy and her team for joining this journey, and to Lithuania a special thanks for putting this train or this joint journey that we need to undertake on probably on one of the most important topics that the tourism sector is currently engaged in, namely artificial intelligence, and to find out all the linkages on how it impacts our daily work in the tourism sector, how we can benefit from it, but also to ensure that we understand the risks and the challenges that are there in order to be most ethical, and at the same time not to forget that our sector is a human-based sector. That means that we need to keep the human touch. With this, again, many, many thanks to Lithuania for the initiation, for the partnership in it with Jane Stacy, and the team behind the scenes, like Noda, Nedim, Davron Beck, Nina, Matilde, Marsha, and Timea from the team here in UN Tourism, who made all this possible. With this, I have pleasure in giving the floor briefly to our dear colleague, Lydia from Lithuania. Please.
Dear Cordula, thank you very much. Really, I prepared a short presentation around 30 minutes about Lithuania again, but I am here not for a presentation. It's my greatest honor today to express our gratitude for the successful and remarkable masterclass. I think today we had all together taken significant steps toward use of data and artificial intelligence in tourism. But first of all, I would like to extend my and Lithuania's deepest thanks to you, Cordula, UN Tourism, and your team. You mentioned a lot of names. I can mention longer, but saving time, I will write later on to everybody personally. And Jane, to you, OECD, and your team, your colleagues, for our joint efforts to making this event a success. Actually, I would like to thank also my colleagues from the ministry and also Lithuania Travel for joining and for bringing ideas all together. And also our thanks go to speakers. I am very grateful that we had speakers not from Europe only, but from members of OECD and UN Tourism and from different regions. Thank you very much for spending this morning, afternoon, and evening together with us. And of course, my big thanks go to participants. Thank you for being so active, so dynamic. Thank you for your questions, for reactions. And to be honest, we wish we could have an in-person meeting about this crucial topic. And I hope this might happen next year. And as you know, Lonely Planet ranked Lithuania as the first country in Europe to be visited in 2025. So we look forward to welcoming you all to a beautiful Lithuania with your friends, families, and colleagues any time of the year. So thanks again for everyone involved, and let's continue to work together for tourism. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Before I give the floor to Jane, dear speakers, don't switch off yet, because we need another group photo for social media, because the interest in this event was so huge that we go on additional posts on social media with this event. Therefore, please stay connected. Therefore, now, Jane, please, the floor is yours. Oh. No. Unplug, maybe. Nope. Nope. Unfortunately, we cannot hear you.
And you're unmuted, Jane, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you're yeah. Nope. We cannot hear
Just to
you.
say thank
Yes,
you.
now, yes, now we can hear you. Now, yes.
Okay, I've got a complicated setup here today. I'm not managing it very well. So I will be very quick, and well done for the fantastic moderation of all the sessions. We have 3 minutes left. So thank you very much, Lithuania, for the excellent initiative, Lydia. Thank you, Cordula, and all the team at UN Tourism for the very good cooperation. But as was also being said, really to the speakers, to the participants, we had such a broad variety of interventions covering a range of topics. I think it really highlights the scale and scope of the discussion on AI, and it really is something that we will continue to talk about for a long time. It's a fast-moving area. It is important that we continue to exchange. To come back to the question, I think that was in one of the chats about how can public-private sector work together, or how can the private sector support governments? It really is these kind of exchanges, hearing about how the private sector is using, how the public sector is using AI, also how the private sector is, but where the barriers are. Because as the discussion on AI evolves, as the technology evolves, the regulatory framework, the legal frameworks are evolving, and we need to be keeping up with both the technology, but also ensuring that the good framework conditions are in place to support the diffusion of AI. And I think the other point that I just would like to pick up, and it was made a few times during the discussion, was that AI is a tool. So it's a tool, it's not a silver bullet. So let's use it really, as you said, Cordula, as we shape our sector. We're looking at our sector, how can we shift to a more sustainable, inclusive, stronger tourism economy in the future? AI is a tool to achieve it. It won't deliver it on its own. And let's continue the discussion to advance that agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Jane. Thank you. And we look forward to keeping working with you on this important topic. And maybe there is another edition on shaping tomorrow's tourism today, which I think is very much needed, that we align ourselves and among ourselves have one common language, and to ensure that with AI all goes well, and that everybody benefits to the best extent possible from this work. With this having said, the participants, I believe we can finish or finalize this session, while please, dear speakers, stay a moment online for another group photo. Again, to all the participants today, thank you so much for being with us today. We look forward to meeting you again. And in case we don't see each other before the holiday season, we wish you all a wonderful and peaceful holiday season. With all that, having said, all the best in the meantime.